Oh, hello, I didn't see you. Welcome to my first tutorial series of learning how to make trap beats. In this part I will show you an introduction to Ableton and what you need to know to follow this tutorial and just get a hang of it. So we're gonna record our first loop, our first instrument, and yeah, hope you have a blast creating dope beats. This is how Ableton should look when you open it the first time. And we can start up in the top here. It's like a menu bar. We have the tempo. We can tap the tempo. We can also put on the metronome. We can play it. We can pause it. We can record. We also have this little button up here, and this one is to make your keyboard send MIDI notes, so you can use your keyboard as a piano or a MIDI controller. So make sure this one is on. To the left here we have the browser, and here you can find sounds, drums, instruments and audio effects and so on. You can also set up your own sample packs and play them here. We can also hide the browser with this arrow here, and we get this big panel of the place where you have all your tracks. You have different tracks for different needs. We have MIDI tracks, we have audio tracks, we have effect tracks or send and return tracks, and we have the master track. We also have a lot of different cluster here, which we can remove by pressing the buttons down here. And we can press the M again to open up our volume. Here we can change the volume of a track. We can pan the track. We can also mute the track. And we can solo the track as well. And down here we have the record. So if I press this, we arm this track for record. And now you can hear my microphone is coming in, but we can't hear anything. This is because if we open the I/O panel, you can find audio from. You can monitor the sound here, and you can send the sound to different routings. But we don't have to care about it, just so you know. To the left here we have a MIDI track, and a MIDI track is where you can play like a MIDI controller or your keyboard. So if we arm this and make sure up here we have the keyboard selected and play our keyboard, A, D, G, and so on, you can see we have signals coming into Ableton. We can't hear anything, and that's because we don't have an instrument loaded on this track yet. So let's do that. Open the browser, go to instruments, maybe I want to try pianos and an organ. You can drop this one on different places. For example, we have selected this MIDI track, and then it says drop an instrument or sample here. So we could drop it here, and we would load this track with the organ. We can also drag it to here, drop files and devices here. Then Ableton will create a MIDI track or audio track depending on what we drop. So I would recommend dropping everything here. Now we can remove the other tracks by pressing one, holding shift and pressing this one, and it will select all the tracks in between. Press delete and we're left with the track we loaded. Now we just have to make sure again that arm to record is on and this keyboard up here is on. Now if we play, we should hear some sound. Down here we have the instrument, and you can play with different knobs to change the sound in different ways. If we want to record what we just played, we again have to make sure that it's armed to record, and we can see that we have round buttons here, which means record. If I turn off arm to record, you see squares, and we now can't do anything except stop that pattern. So if I press arm to record again, put on the metronome and press this arrow here, we can have a counting. Before it starts recording, the metronome will play 1 bar. Perfect. Now we can press this round record button. And press space to stop it. If we double click this recorded pattern, you can see we open it down here. Here we can see all the notes we just recorded. We can select some of them or just one of them. we can press delete it, press Ctrl Z to undo your step, and you can control the length, and you can add new notes by double clicking an empty space. You can also, if you want to, go back to the track by pressing the track, and we can see our instrument again. If we turn off the metronome, play it back, you can see we have recorded it. But now we can, for example, change out the instrument to something else. So let's take a pad. And now, instead of dragging it to a new track, we can just fill our latest track by changing the filter sweep pad. Play it. And now we have a pad. Down here we can also add audio effects, which we can find in the browser. And I could take a chorus, for example, put it behind it, play. And play around with it. So that's how you record an instrument and how you can put effects on it. In the next tutorial I will go through how to create some drums, and we can start creating some dope ass trap beats.